Good evening, my fellow Americans. If it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert DuVernay Show. I'd like to thank you for logging this up this evening. Those of you already logged in, kudos to you. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. You hear this song, you know it's the Robert DuVernay Show. Well, this evening we have a wonderful program for you. As you know, the Robert DuVernay Show comes on live every Monday at 8 p.m. If it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert DuVernay Show. Well, I'd like to give you about 30 seconds to call a friend. Let them know that, hey, the Robert DuVernay Show is on, and this is a time for them to log in. And if they have not signed up, this is a unique opportunity for them to have to sign up. Again, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm counting right now. Call a friend. Let them know the Robert DuVernay Show is live. The 30 seconds begins as we speak right now. Please call a friend. Let them know the Robert DuVernay Show is live. Call them. Give you 30 seconds. All right, here you go. Your 30 second is up. 30 second is up. Your 30 second is up. My producer told me the 30 second is up. All right, all right. Well, this evening, what I have in store for you is that, you know, as of last week, there has been a lot of issues concerning the great state of Georgia. As you may have heard, those of you who have not been in the news for some reason or another, the great state of Georgia has recently passed legislation, SB 202. What SB 202 does, it stripped out the voting rights for a lot of people. And the reason why I'm saying that is the fact that you would think that we're in 2021. Well over, we pretty much at the first quarter of the 20th century. Of the 21st century, I'm sorry. We're at the quarter of the 21st century right now, and we're pretty deep, right? All right. But yet there are those who will still renegade on the past. They would love to see a selected few, a minority few, to control the political system. Yet, but there are those who are fighting in spite of all the little resources that they have, but they have the willingness in them to fight. And we need those. We need to champion those, let them know that we appreciate their effort, their work in the community, and also throughout the state. My hope is that as we're going to delve into the show pretty deep sometime tonight, but my hope is that we lay on a foundation that other generation could follow. Has it not been the work of the Martin Luther King Jr., the work of Rosa Parks, the work of Mahalia Jackson, just to name a few, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, the list goes on. Monroe, Dr. Monroe, my man. All right, but you think about it. Have they not put up a fight, you and I would not be where we are today. So I think society calls upon us today to not be comfortable. Oftentimes we get comfortable in our own skin, in our own leisure, in our own political field, or maybe in our own resources. But yet there are those who've been disenfranchised for some particular reason. But we, the people, we cannot sit on the sideline and wait for the good Lord to do something. I think we have the unique opportunity to call on our congressman and to take a stand for what matters to us the most. This show right now, as we speak, should be lightening up. This is not a show which talks about things that are irrelevant. The reason why the Robert DuVernay Show comes on every night, every Monday night at 8 p.m. is the fact that I think there are issues that are relevant to us as a people. And these things should be at the forefront. And someone must do it. So I've taken the helm. And that's the reason why I come on to you every Monday. I've made it a commitment to be there for you and relay the information that I believe that are pertinent, and at the same time share with you what's important. What happened in Georgia could very well happen in the great state of Florida, a state that I admire a great deal. Could very well happen in West Virginia, to say the least. Remember that they did not build Rome in one day. So Dr. King said it best in the great word of Dr. King, who said that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So which I were to translate that, it tells me that if it could happen in Georgia, it could very well happen in the great state of Georgia, great state of Texas, and so many other states throughout the nation. So these are things, those are alarming issues. Those are things that we cannot stay on the sideline and hoping for something miracle to happen. I believe we, the people, we need to keep these things at the forefront. Let it be known to others, and let not take anything for granted. And I always have issues when we don't vote. Think about it. How many people die for voting rights? How many people went to jail for voting rights? How many people never see the day of light for voting rights? Yet, by not taking part of this movement or by not voting, we're doing them a disservice. Yet, they paved the way. The least we could do is to honor their ability, honor the resources, honor the effort they put in for it. This is the reason why we live in a different society nowadays. We have social media. Now, if my great audience, whom I have great admiration for, I believe that I have around like 415, 420, almost about 450 viewers who are really loyal to this show. If they were to just tell a friend, just think about it, just one of you will sign someone up. That right there will get me close to 1,000. Now imagine you were to do two of them. Think about it. That's right there, that's 1,500. So if you were to get 3, automatically, if each and every one of you sign up 3 individuals, that right there will get me $2,000, 2,000. So think about how fast, it's like rapid fire, how fast we can occupy the network, how fast we can get the news to those who have been at a disadvantage. And then we must act. We have a job to do. Well, tonight I call upon you to do your part. That will depend on you if you really, really mean it. So let's get to work. Let's get the ball rolling. All right. Just so I just want to share that with you. As you know, last week, again, with what happened in Georgia, we have the MLB, which is the Major League Baseball. The All-Star game was scheduled to play in Atlanta, the home of the Atlanta Braves, that stadium. Well, guess what? They pulled back. Well, that tells me that the Major League Baseball is really taking a stand. They would not host the Major League Baseball All-Star game in Atlanta, Georgia, for the simple fact that the Georgia legislature, better yet, the governor, Kemp, has signed into law these new restrictions in voting rights. So now that's in a message that tells me there are those in sports who understand the not only the ability of African Americans or minorities, or lack of a better word, the importance of voting rights, the importance of a segment of the population, which is critical to our economy. So Major League Baseball with the big pocket, because they have a deep pocket. So when they act, people will follow. So they're making a stand. I'm sure that will have them to think. Because think about when you pull that Major League Baseball All-Star game out of Atlanta, the grids that will suffer. It's bring billions of dollars, billions in commercial products, merchandise, you name it. That's going to hurt them. So And also, I've not seen Dr. Azor here, but she's a representative here in the great state of Georgia in her capacity in the education level. She's teaching and she's also counseling those students. She knows a thing or two when it comes to the great Delta. Delta has a hub in Georgia. That's where they have one of the largest airport in the country, and I visited there. I mean, it's really it's a wonder, really. Delta is pulling a lot of ads. Okay. Oh, you're here. Thank you, Dr. Azor. For some reason, normally you normally log in early, but Dr. Azor must have fell asleep tonight. But she's back. She's back. Okay, very good. Yeah. So Delta is making some threat to Georgia legislature. They're not happy with what happened last week with the new signing of the law. So I believe that they're making some noise, and we have quite Coca-Cola, to name a few. I think this one is getting tension. I mean, we're not talking about some mom and pop stores and that we're going to pull the business out of Georgia. No, we're talking about Delta. All right, we're talking about Coca-Cola. We're talking about Major League Baseball who will boycott. Listen to this, man. They will not play the All-Star game for this year in Georgia. So think about it. That's a lot of millions. That's a lot of zeros. Okay. So I'm sure I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens next. But I think it's a great thing what's happening right now. But we, the people, we need to do our act. We need to act. I'd love to see those of you in Georgia, do some movement. I mean, if you guys need me up there to for some reason, I'll be more than happy to. But again, since you'll be hosting me, I'd love to see where the work starts. Because if people are in Florida, Robert DuVernay show will be there, and we'll also make our voice heard. And when we talk, great things happen. That's one of my mantra I believe in. When people talk, great things happen. We're not talking to each other anymore. And I believe that when we come together as a unit, great things would happen. All right. Little trivia for you. We're going to change topic for a second. And those of you, if you have questions, please feel free, because we have so many topics to touch on tonight. But I'm trying to give it, the time is training. I'm going to be very brief. But then again, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to go over these questions for you. All right. Dr. Azor just said this is no longer 1960s. Will not be scared into not voting. Very good, Dr. Azor. Definitely. This is one thing I'll touch on the top of this show, that there are those who try to relegate, trying to go back. And yet, we, the people, we must stand for what we believe in. For so long, we've suffered. For so long, we've been on the sideline. This is a time that we must act. I mean, act. All caps. All caps. This is not time for us to be playing around. This is not a time, because this show right now, this is not a show that you would find sounds bites that way, bad jokes. No, this is serious business. I'm going to let that for other people to deal with into that, the nonsense. But then again, I think I have a job for my people. I think I should make it clear. I guess that's the reason why I'm not getting 10,000 viewers. But then again, we hope that someday we tap into that segment and our people can be awakened. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for this, Dr. Azor. All right. Now, another point I'd like to. Yesterday was, of course, Easter Sunday. Those of you who share the Christian faith, I pray that you have a wonderful Easter, which was we call it the Resurrection Day, and Jesus Christ rose from the dead on the third. He said, "You will get the temple, but then you will destroy it, but I will rebuild it in 3 days." That was awesome. So Resurrection Day, and as just give you a little trivia, every now and then when it comes to since 2004, I've been watching the Passion of Christ, and I make it my ritual to watch that every Easter week. And this week, for some reason, I was bombarded with a lot of work and didn't have time. But then again, I make sure before the 24 hours, before the clock ticked 12 midnight last night, that I watched the show. I did watch the movie again. It really hit home to the sacrifices that my greatest line was the there's no greater love than for a man to lay down his life for his friends. I think that's exactly what I'm doing here at the Robert DuVernay Show. I'm laying it out for you all weekend, and then making the time. And then I wish you all a happy Resurrection Day. All right. Thank you. Also, the fourth was also on a different note was Dr. King. Because those of you who are familiar with history, you know Dr. King, a great leader, a type of Christ. Since we talk about the Resurrection Day, he was a type of Jesus Christ as well. This is a man who foresee his death. This is a man who knew his days were numbered. Yet he went in. Yes, he went in. He went in, and because the cause was bigger than him. See, it was not about self. See, he was about a calling. There's a job he had to do, so he went in. He knew well that his days were numbered. He said, I may not get there with you. That's powerful. I may not get there with you. He said, I'd love to live a long life. Longevity, I'm not thinking about that right now, but I want to do God's word. But he allowed me to go on the top of the mountain. And I've seen them, oh Lord, and I've seen the mountains, the promised land. It's powerful, powerful. So yesterday was exactly the day that marked Dr. King 53 years since he passed. You remember that Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968. And then I took a moment of silence to pay respect and tribute to the King family. For we thank God for giving us a man of this caliber. Dr. King is one that I admire a great deal. Yes, it was one of the best speech of all time. That is correct, Dr. Hazel. Thank you. There's a man out there. Come on now. Come on. Yes, come on. It was the best speech ever. Yes, you struck or something in my spine here. Yes, just thinking about it. Oh, got me jumping off here. Don't get me started here. Don't get me started here. Don't get me started here, Dr. Hazel. But yeah, it was powerful. And then I believe it gives us the notion that that there are those who still believe in the human race, that that what matters to me matters to you as well, on a different front. So just remember, I mean, we say a prayer to the King's family, Bernice, who was also in Atlanta, Georgia, who really continue her father's legacy. We hope to have her on the show soon, and that's something we're working on. So those of you, this is something in the works. Since you guys are my loyal viewers, so I'm sharing this with you. But we're working on this diligently. So pretty soon we might see someone of that caliber. As you can see, the Robert DuVernay Show has been just me alone, but then again, we have those who will be coming soon, so just stay tuned. Okay. Now, on a different note, so the sense we're racing again time right now, it's already 8:20. Time is fast approaching. What I wanted to touch base with you, of course, I got a lot of text messages and also emails. They asked me about the tax. I thought folks were not no longer into taxes, but they wonder about the tax, and some of you may not have received your tax as of lately. It's a simple fact that the IRS has experienced some fraud as of recent. Oh, it's the IRS always suffer fraud, but last year, I mean, you have criminals at home. I mean, those of you who are at home, I'm sure you're spending more time with your family and with your kids. I mean, most of you guys are doing online courses, and I'm sure we have a couple of teachers online here. Dr. Azor is one of the teachers. Mr. Ambrose Delson, also a teacher in the Miami-Dade district. And I'm sure you guys are working diligently, but there are those. There's always a handful who are not using the time wisely. They're thinking about the next score, which way they can scam the system. Well, these guys have been quite lucky. They milk the IRS for some billions of dollars in losses. So therefore, the IRS right now, because of the stimulus package Those of you who have not received your refund yet, they're processing the stimulus first for some people, and then at the same time your refund is been followed thereafter. Well, what the IRS has done this year, they're getting smarter. They want to make sure that we're not paying these con artists twice. So therefore, if you had your stimulus checks with probably less than what your refund would be, they'll lend it out to you, and then at the same time, what they will do, they'll write you a letter. Remember that the IRS will never contact you. I should make this loud and clear. The IRS will never contact you by phone. They'll never approach you on the street. They would always contact you via USPS, United States Postal Service. So those of you may have gotten calls by some scam artists. They're talking about they got your Social Security, and then this is a scam. Don't fall for it. Don't relay your information to them. Just tell them that, you know what, I would love to help you, sir, but I don't have the time right now. Please call at a different time, and then they'll hang up. But when but the IRS will contact you. Well, what happened is this year, what the IRS has done, they sent out letters asking you to verify your identity. So this is a straight out process. What you do, you just go on the IRS.gov and you enter your information. You create an account with them, of course. Your first name, last name, Social Security, date of birth, your current address, what's reflected on your tax return, and you create that account with a password. And then they would also ask you if you have a credit card, because they want to make sure it's you. So they're not going to use a debit card. It has to be a major credit card. So with a major credit card, all they need is the last 8 digits of the credit card. And also, if you have a phone which is on a plan, because they ask either you have a phone on a plan. If you have a phone, let's say if you have T-Mobile or AT&T, Sprint, whatever other carrier that may be at Verizon, they'll be able to verify it. It doesn't have to be on your name. If you have a family plan, they can check it. So that right there, once they check that, they ask you what you had on line 31 or line 37. So the amount and of course the amount you are expecting on okay, you just tell them it is how much, and then also if there's an account number that you have requested that money to be deposited into your checking account, they will just have to use the last 4 digits. And then once you confirm that, because remember that the IRS already has that information, so all you do, you're just putting in there just to confirm it. And then if you could confirm that, then technically this is you, and then automatically you just get your checks within 2 weeks. So just be a little patient with them. And I understand, because there's a lot of money that's at loss. In my practice, we see this a lot. That folks who may have issues with the IRS, and then also they really linger behind in terms of getting the refunds. But they can just be patient with the IRS. They're doing their diligence, and they just want to make sure that the money is going to the rightful individual. That's about it. Okay, and let me see if you have any questions yet. Okay, I just got a question here. You know, I love those questions. I love it. I just have a question. Do you think churches should automatically give your contribution form, or should you ask? That's a good question, Dr. Azor. But I know we live in a different time right now, and I mean, when you're giving something to the Lord, it's a bit touchy to go ahead and ask the church. But not with good things right now. Most of you guys who pay your bills online, or I mean, most churches right now, they have tithing they pay online. So in other words, that money is coming directly from your account. If you get paid monthly, and I know some of you may get paid monthly, and so you have 12 times whatever. If you're loyal, I mean, I'm gonna throw something at Dr. Azor here. It's easy, Dr. Azor. I don't think you should ask the church to give this to you, for the simple fact that a loyal member of your caliber would abide by the 10%. So therefore, if you're making $100,000 a year, so 10% of that Okay, do the math. You know, you just drop 1 0, so that's 10 grand right there. Is that right? So you know, by the end of the year, you give $10,000, right? So I'm not gonna ask the church for a letter, or and then if the church feels it's in their capacity to send out letters to everyone, that's fine. But then um, again, another thing you could do, I mean, since most churches now collect data in terms of email and text, they can shoot that. I mean, because when you think about printing these letters and then stamp and process those, that could be very costly to the church, since we on tight budget these days due to COVID, and at the same time all the factors that may involve. But I believe the electronically, that's a good idea. We could definitely explore that. Thank you for your outstanding questions. Your questions always above the fray here. So we encourage your questions. Those of you who have not asked questions, please feel free. Yeah, but definitely that's something we should bear in mind. The church could definitely send out emails to those of us who have email, and also even those of us who have sex. I mean, everybody has a cell phone, right? Everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone. I think I have my first cell phone about 15 years ago, right? I'm kind of late in the game, but I'm hanging in there. Yes, definitely. So I think that's a great question, and also donate, because we're living in a tough time. When we give to church, when we give to nonprofit, your dollar goes a long way. So I encourage you to continue to bless someone, bless someone who are less fortunate, and because when the church collects your funding, they really do help others. Okay, thank you very much. Oh no, okay, doctors. Oh no, I don't make it. No, not at all. Not at all. You know, sometimes no, it's a good thing. No, not at all. You probably misread me here, but no, I think it's a great thing. It's a great thing when you file your taxes, and then there's a section that's called about charity contribution. Then you could put something in there. I think it's a great thing. No, it's a great thing. I mean, you know, sometimes churches they don't have that much resources. We know some churches in the South, they don't have that luxury to have a computer system where they have it. So sometimes it's like where you put them in a corner. Oh my God, for me to look for this. Sometimes they don't have the secretary up to par to really get that. That's the only thing. Because I like to make people at ease, you know, in terms of what they. But then again, in your case, I believe you probably pay your tithes, or maybe by checks or online. So you have data, or you have to just go into your account, and it tells you, boom, whatever you paid. You just do an inventory of what you started from January to December. Boom, it's right there. It could be done within 10-15 minutes, and just depending on how much you get. But then, you know, great. That's a great thing. I think we all should. I encourage you. I'm myself. I am a great believer in tithing, and also in contributing to my fellow human being. I mean, when we come together as a unit, that was the whole message of Jesus Christ. You know, to help one another, love one another. Okay. Oh, checks. See, now you're making me feel old now. You know, I still use checks. I still use checks. I still use checks. I still use checks. So every now and then I like to mail out a check, you know, because I do have them. I make good use of them, and yeah, because right now even the bank, they just scan them and you have access to it right there. You know, and sometimes it pays dividend, you know, down the road. If you have to show proof that you paid something and you have the company stamp on the back of the check, that right there, hey, someone had it. Someone cashed it. But I know we're living in a different time right now. Everything is done electronically, but I think it's a good thing. Oh, great. You see, there you go. See, your church sent quarterly statement. This is outstanding. I'm sure they probably has a system in place that is overwhelmingly friendly. And as data comes in, I'm sure they probably have but you know, most of our churches, most in the South, they don't have that system. Maybe you go to one of the churches where there's a system, and you have that's the reason why we need volunteering. I mean, most of you who thought about doing some good work, you could volunteer, and let's duplicate what Dr. Hazel's church is doing in the great state of Georgia by giving out a quarterly statement, and I think it's a great thing. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I encourage those. Yeah, again, this is a platform that we create. I mean, we share things like that. I'm learning that Dr. Israel Church does quarterly statement. That speaks volume. That's something that we can duplicate. I can duplicate that in some churches. I don't have any church, but I belong to a church. But if I were, I would definitely do that. I mean, when you hear someone is doing something, some marvelous work, you can only duplicate it. It does not diminish you. It does not make you less of a person. Does not make your system less. It just make it better. So I think we learn from another, and then we move on, and then for the advancement of the kingdom. So that's what matters the most. So again, if you don't have any more questions, It's already 8:31, so I'm well over the time. But I'd like to thank you again once more for logging into the Robert Vernon Show. Again, if you know if it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert Vernon Show. Thank you so much for logging in, and I look forward to seeing you here next week at the same time, 8 o'clock, for another show as such. Thank you.